Well, hello, my beautiful Leo. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with a little bonus reading all about you. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings, and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I've sourced a softer frequency to prepare and cleanse your reading. I'm using Gaia chimes to cleanse hourly, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound, okay? So let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Leo, this is a little bonus reading all about you. Us tarot readers, we tend to focus on career, money, love, but we never ask how are you doing. So this reading is going to tap into what's going on with you right now, how you're moving through this time period, and of course what lies on the other side. Now, I'm shuffling the cards. I do not choose the cards for you, so this reading may not resonate with everyone, but let's see what happens and what comes out and just take what resonates with you, okay? So let us begin. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Leo? What are they going through at this moment in time? Can you please show them the way? What do they need to know? Can you please highlight to them what they need to be aware of for their future as well? Now, I'm just seeing in the water a clock, but it stopped. Okay, so some of you may feel that time has stood still on something. Perhaps there was a monumental event that you experienced and nothing has been the same ever since. So that's what I'm seeing in the water right now. It may not resonate with all of you, of course. But that's what I'm seeing. I mean, for some of you, it could literally mean that your watch stopped. Okay, so it could mean that a battery needs changing. Perhaps this can indicate that you feel a little bit exhausted right now and that you need recharging in some way. But I feel a lot of you, the nature of time has changed in some way. And this is on a personal level, but it could be that you've experienced something that really made you stand very still, or something happened there that you feel somehow time is just different. It's shifted. You're different. Everything seems to be different there. So I'm just giving you what I can see right now. Sometimes it may not resonate with everyone, of course, but that's what I can see at this moment in time. And this one's a little bit of an obvious one. I'm being given a bit of an itchy nose. So this can also indicate hay fever season. So a lot of you could be going through that right now. It could be that it's something you're trying to manage and it's challenging. I'm sending you a huge hug out there if you're going through that right now. But I definitely see, actually, some of you may find a really interesting way to manage it that helps you conquer it. So that's coming out there as well. So let's get straight to your cards. Your first card there actually is the Five of Wands, which is a card of challenge. You know, life, it's not easy. And I feel, of course, you've been going through some obstacles recently, but what I kind of like about the Five of Wands, it indicates that you are someone who is strong enough to take the journey that you have been given right now. And although things may feel a little bit clunky at this moment in time, things are going to all come together as planned. Okay, if you know the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the Five of Wands, there's actually 5 figures there on the card, and each of them has a wand. And it all looks very sort of like chaotic. but they're actually trying to create a star, the shape of a star with those wands, and it's nearly finalized. So it can indicate that, you're trying to organize your life, but you feel sometimes it gets a little bit chaotic and you have to manage everything and you're not sure how it's all coming together, but it will. And I feel like you're taking control of your life in some way, but it has been challenging there. And for some of you with that Five of Wands, there could have been some conflict or arguments, some opposition going on recently, and you may be trying to harmonize or heal a relationship. I mean, you have the Hangman here and you have the Two of Cups. This is something that can be healed. So this doesn't have to be like a romantic partnership. This can be, two people who really care about each other, maybe even care a little bit too much. Sometimes we can overcare and be over compassionate, and we care so much that sometimes it tips the balance into codependency, or it tips the balance into kind of like I don't want to say the word smothering, but it feels like sometimes people care so much they kind of like overcare, and it could be that it leads to some sort of tension there. So if you're going through a conflict with a person, or you've been separate from a person, I do see there could be a resolution for you and this person in the future, but there needs to be, a really honest, open conversation where both parties take accountability for actions and things said. And I definitely see there could be a healing process. So this could be with you and a person that perhaps you've fallen out with, or for some of you, it could be like a family conflict, or maybe it is a partnership. Perhaps you and your partner, if you're in a high level commitment, perhaps you've been under a lot of stress recently. Life is hard and there's so many different challenges to manage. It can indicate that both of you have been like a little bit tetchy or a little bit snappy. There's a lot of stress there because that Five of Wands is stress. But I do see there's a lot of love. There's a lot of like deep down understanding, but it has to kind of change in order to rebalance itself in some way. So I feel both of you could actually, have a one-on-one, a really deep conversation in order to bring you together. I mean, if you are arguing with someone, whether it is, suddenly you've discovered a hidden side of a person and it's really shocked you and you're taking a step back. Maybe your friendships are evolving in some sort of way, or perhaps something's gone on in a dynamic. You have the Five of Wands, which of course is conflict. I'll show you these cards in a moment. You also have the Six of Cups, which is to revisit the situation and remember the good times as well as the bad. We must always remember both sides of the story. But there is a Two of Cups here and the Lover's card. So it can indicate that there is some choice going on here. It is your prerogative if you want to heal something with somebody, but I do feel like you will have an option to do that in the future. And actually, I feel destiny will bring you both back together for some sort of healing there. Queen of Swords, a very direct conversation, really honest, like lay your cards on the table kind of thing. Okay, that's what I'm being given here for some of you if you've been going through some sort of conflict. Now, the overarching look at the energy, some of you may have had some sort of news that perhaps has made you really sit up and be like very direct about it. It feels like you're being serious about something at this time. And it could be that you're trying to create more balance in your world, or it can indicate that you're trying to really look at your decisions. Some of you have a choice to make right now, and it's in a certain area of your life that moves you forward, connected to your destiny, but you don't want to misstep because there is a Five of Cups here and you're like, oh, if I make this decision, will I regret it? But I feel like, you have all the information you need to move forward and you're making great decisions at this time. So I would not mistrust your intuition. I feel it's definitely leading the way there, okay? But we get to these cards in a moment. I mean, I've got two queens here, so these can represent people. There's a lot of dynamics of people in this reading there. So some of you may feel a little bit disappointed in someone, or you're just fed up with the way things have been going, because we do have people in this sort of spread that I'm doing right now for you. But it doesn't have to be people. It can be a situation, okay, that you're dealing with. But let's get to your first card. We have the Five of Wands. Something is hard. It's just challenging. And, there may even be a little bit of an inner battle there. So some of you, we've got the Queen of Swords there and we got the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands, of course, is a Leo card. So a lot of you, you could be having this inner battle regarding something that's changed in your life. Some of you could be literally transforming your life and feel like you're in, limbo, as it were. You've got one foot in your old life and you've got one foot in the new life that you're aspiring to achieve or step into, and it feels a little bit discombobulating at this time. But the Five of Wands, I feel like you just are under a lot of pressure, and you may have this like conflict of the next steps in some way. I mean, the Five of Wands is pressure, so that can literally mean that, you are finding things a little bit challenging at this moment in time. But, pressure actually can be quite positive. It can actually highlight where you're unhappy in your life or where things need to change. So I see this as an inner compass, especially when you have that Wheel of Fortune. You're kind of looking at the things that you feel you need to change in your life. Now, some of you are stepping back from things that hurt you or limit your potential. These could be people, could be situations, whatever it is. I feel like you're stepping away to kind of like take stock of your life in some way. And I mean, also, I feel this energy of wanting to challenge yourself a little bit more. Some of you may feel like you need to rewild in some way, or, take more risks, or, tap into that lust for life a little bit more to do something bold and daring, because this is a very explorative card as well. It can be like creatively brainstorming the next steps of your life. If you're a creative person, it could be that you're under a lot of pressure right now, and you may have had some creative blocks, for example, because you have been pressurizing yourself, or perhaps you have been extra critical of yourself in some way, and it's made you doubt some sort of path, or made you doubt a situation or a person because you're assessing at this time. Now, I always say that, my Five of Wands for me is always my gym card, for example. So a lot of you, it can be that, you want a little bit more challenge in your life, or you want to get a little bit more active in some area of your life, but you may feel that things have not been moving forward for you, and it's disappointing. But also, I feel a lot of you could be at like a halfway point on something, a milestone in your life in some way, and you just want to move on to the next stage, but it feels clunky, or it feels hard, because I feel like you're having some sort of gear shift here right now. And I actually feel like a lot of you are locked onto this sense of purpose and destiny, and asking like, what's it all about? And you're trying to make everything work in some way, and you have so much on your to-do list and on your plate right now. There could also be some interference here as well. So because we do have people in your reading, and the Five of Wands can be, everybody's got their 2 cents on how you should be living your life, their expectations, or, perhaps there's this kind of viewpoint that you feel you need to step away from, because you are here to live your life and get the best out of the situation that you can get. So, I feel a lot of you with this energy, because the crossing card is the Knight of Wands. So this can indicate that you're a very passionate person, and you're a fire element, of course, but because it's a crossing card with the Five of Wands, some of you have been under so much pressure recently that you may have felt like you've lost your mojo, or sometimes you feel unappreciated, or you feel low energy. I mean, there's a lot of energy cards here in your reading. So a lot of you could be feeling like super exhausted, or be noticing that your energy levels are just hitting different, and you're like, how do I get back to best? How do I revitalize my spirits? Some of you, it's like some of the things that you used to love doing, they just don't hit in the same way. They don't feel the same in some way, and you're like trying to reconnect to that part of yourself that you feel like somehow has changed, or that you've lost touch with. And I really get this sense that a lot of you are determined for new adventures, or you want to like move forward on something, and you have that unstoppable spirit. But the Hangman can indicate that either something got turned upside down in your world, or, I really want to draw your attention to the fact that I was given like a watch, or clock rather, that just stopped, okay? And we got the Hangman, and that is to pause. It is to stop. It is literally to kind of like be in suspension. So it could be that some of you feel that the nature of time has shifted, or you are somehow working so hard to make life work, but still you feel suspended or in a position where you're taking stock or waiting, or I feel a lot of you are like so fed up of waiting because you're putting so much effort into your life. But I do see that there is going to be some breakthrough moment. You know, you have the Wheel of Fortune as your potential position. So this means, yes, you're making some sort of gear shift in your life, but also I feel like you're trying to be more positive and open to all the prosperity that's coming in. A lot of you could be removing some sort of energy block or money block in your world. But, you know, the Knight of Wands, it indicates that you want something new. I feel a lot of you are like, okay, it's just the same old thing, just a different day. What else? What else is there? So a lot of you could be in search for something that brings you joy or ignites that spark, if you know what I mean there. With the Knight of Wands in the crossing position, you know, this can also indicate that things have been chaotic. Maybe you've been meeting people who are very transient in your world as well. Perhaps friendships have evolved in a weird kind of way where you're like, okay, no one's got time, or everyone seems to be like super busy. No one's invested anymore. It just feels like somehow there's a disconnect there. Now, this could be from a very specific person, okay, because there is a Queen of Swords here and there is a Queen of Wands. So this can indicate that you're grieving a friendship, or you're grieving a partnership, or you're grieving something that used to feel fulfilling, but now it's stalled, or it just doesn't hit in the same way. So I really get this energy that for some of you, this could be your own personal vision. It could be that, you know, you're showing up every day to make life work. You have a dream, you have a goal. And, you know, sometimes, of course, you're moving forward and making progress. And other times it just feels like you're stagnant. And of course, as humans, we have to acknowledge that, you know, we're not going to win every day. But every day is an opportunity to participate in the process of making progress, okay? To show up for yourself and make things happen. But also there needs to be a lull sometimes. Sometimes we need to take a pause, to take stock, just to make sure that we're on the right track, to regroup our energy. You know, sometimes as well, that certain doors are locked on purpose to protect us and show us another way. And even sometimes those doors are locked in order to allow us to take that pause to rest, because you can be like trying to move forward against the energy. Because some of you feel, especially that Five of Wands, it can be that you're trying to move forward, but it feels like mud. It almost feels like you're trying to wade through mud sometimes, that you're like always just out of reach of something that you're trying to accomplish. But I do see here like a milestone where a lot of you are confronting an obstacle. I mean, for some of you, you could literally be confronting a person on why they've changed or why a situation has changed. And you may be defending how you feel about it, or you may be challenging this person and saying, look, we got to talk. We got to face this thing. So some of you could also be literally facing something in your life that has been challenging, and it feels like the only way is through. And on the other side, there's prosperity. There is an energy here of simplicity, of movement, but also you being able to manifest in many forms and, you know, being more independent and free, breaking free from something that has been challenging is what I'm seeing. Because the Knight of Wands in this position, it tells me that you're in the midst of it. Okay, but you're coming out the other side of it. And I definitely see with that Queen of Swords, for some of you, I mean, life sometimes throws us a curveball. That's life, unfortunately. But it can be that if things have been a little bit tricky for you, that Queen of Swords is calling you to be organized, to be structured. Perhaps productive structure will help you move through this situation. So if you have found that perhaps your schedule has become overcommitted, it's time to organize and prioritize. For some of you, you know, because you have the Two of Cups here in the Lover's card, it can be that you've got so much on your plate and you care about so many people around you, and you don't like to disappoint because that Five of Cups is there. You know, you hate to let anyone down or disappoint them, so you're always there. You're showing up for people 100%. You are ride or die for the people you let into your life and that you really care about. But also, sometimes you may feel it comes at a cost because that Hangman is sacrifice. So it can be that For some of you, there's a personal project or something that you want to get moving forward on, but you are so busy that you cannot prioritize any time for yourself. So now we need to shift the balance so that you can fulfill yourself. Because if you're always adhering to other things outside of yourself, it's going to make you feel a bit cranky. It's going to make you feel a little bit snappy, So there has to be a balance, some give and take. That's what your Two of Cups is about. It's about reciprocity. It's like there is a time for pause and a time for reflection for yourself or investment in your projects or your creativity, but there's also a time for other things and, being there for other people. Some of you may even be sort of noting the relationship you have with a person and noticing that perhaps it's been a little bit one-sided recently, and some of you may call this person out and get like an answer. And depending on the answer, then you'll make your decision as to whether you want to invest in this friendship or this relationship any further, because you've been giving your all to it, okay? Five of Wands, there's been, some sort of shift or change in that dynamic, and it feels like somehow it isn't easy anymore, or maybe there's an internal conflict. For some of you, you may even know something about a person, and you really want to confront that person or that situation, and like, well, how do I kind of like address this? So I feel with that Queen of Swords, it could be diplomatically, you're speaking your truth, but there is a process in order to find the truth of a situation. So for example, if I wanted to confront someone on something that I felt we needed to discuss, I wouldn't go in there saying like, hey, you need to tell me this thing, because people shut down. They get that shield. So it can be that you're trying to create some sort of like safe space or, a comfortable environment to have a really honest, open discussion about something and say, look, okay, it's come to my attention that this has happened and I really don't like to sit on things and let them fester. So if you want to talk about something, and let's get it out in the open, let's, face it head on. Let's really dissect this and see if we can save the dynamic between us, or whether we need to walk away from each other, or, how can we move through this? So some of you, there could be some sort of challenge that you're wondering how you're going to move through, but I definitely see you will move through it and you'll come out the other side, and there is a bonding. So if this is a relationship for some of you, it could be like a relationship with your child. If you have a child, it could be a teenager, could be, your neighbor, it could be your boss, it could be your partner, could be a sibling, could be, someone that you're estranged from, for example. But I do see that in your future, there is some sort of like tete-a-tete or conversation that is direct, honest, diplomatic, but kind of like understanding there, so that both parties can understand the intentions behind the dialogue of what went down, okay? So we do have this Six of Cups. So this is, sweet memories. It's like nostalgia. So a lot of you, it feels like there was a point, like the good old days, where either you and this person or you and the situation just felt easier, more aligned somehow. And it can indicate that you want to return to those times, but things will not change unless there is, a moment where we face things and acknowledge and kind of like admit to ourselves, it's changed. This is the dynamic now. It's not going back. It is as it is in this moment. And now the only way forward is forward. So we cannot go back. The Six of Cups there can be the security of the good old days. But sometimes as humans, we kind of look back with rose-tinted glasses, and we need to remember both the good and the bad of a situation. And, that Six of Cups as well, this can indicate that a lot of you, because this is a personal message to you, it's all about you, but there is a person here. There's two people in this reading, so I've got to acknowledge that every card is highlighting like Two of Cups, Six of Cups, the Lover's card, the Two Queens. This can indicate perhaps, not just a dynamic, but aspects of self. So with this Six of Cups, some of you could be lamenting a part of yourself. It could be that you're mourning with that Five of Cups there, or yearning to return to a time where you felt it was just easier. Sometimes we can all look back and say, whew, didn't we have it good? Nobody knew that, there was going to be this big old world event that kind of changed everything. Nobody would know that, these things were going to occur, for example, and change dynamics and friendships and life and how we perceive things and really wake us up to what's important. So some of you, it could be that, you wish to go back to a period where it just felt easier or more aligned with a situation. But some of you, it can be that, it's almost like, because that Five of Cups is there, it feels like there's a missing ingredient. So you may be looking at the nature of change and getting older, for example, because the Queen of Wands is basically you being very attractive, okay? But you may be noting that as we get older, okay, we must not allow challenge to harden our heart, because the Queen of Swords, there is a potential outcome there, which means that sometimes, life and the experiences we have, it can really chip away at our confidence, or it certainly makes us stronger. But, that card can make you somehow detached. Okay, that's what that card is all about. So it can indicate that, you have felt detached from some time, or may you feel like you've been detached for some time, or even like you've been on autopilot and you just want to rediscover that passion. You want to return, because this is a card where you want to reunite or return to something. And because we have that Knight of Wands, it can be that, you want to tap into your sensual side, or your lust for life, your passion, your joie de vivre, your even your flirtatious side for some of you, because that can be a very flirty card. For some of you, it can be that you just want more independence. You may feel that life, it's been challenging and hard, and you're wondering, does it ever change? Well, the answer is yes, it does change, because you have the Wheel of Fortune in your potential position, which basically means that there's better times ahead, better memories to form ahead as well. And if you're currently searching for your soul tribe, if you feel that, your network, as it were, your friendship network or a family dynamic or something has shifted and changed, and you felt that you are somehow on the outside looking in now, it can indicate that you're about to meet people who really align with who you are and what you're about. Soul connections coming on in, because I definitely see with that Two of Cups there, in your near future, meeting people who vibe at a frequency that basically you do at this time as well. Now, of course, a lot of you, you're trying to manifest something. You're working really hard. You're exhausted, that you have been giving everything you've got towards a situation to really try and shape things up in your life. It feels clunky, that things are like compartmentalized. You have to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it feels like, well, how is it all going to fit? How does it all come together? But it will. And I'm really excited for you, because I feel actually something you've been manifesting or working hard to accomplish, suddenly it just clicks. It just comes on in there. It just, vibes at a frequency with your heart, because that's literally what the Two of Cups and the Lovers card is all about. When you have a reading all about you, it means there's something that you yearn for in your heart, or you're trying to manifest, and that vibration, you're trying to believe that it will happen, but also you're taking necessary steps to make it happen, okay? And the Two of Cups is a complete alignment to make it come towards you, to be offered from the universe, because the universe is actually understanding what it is you want or need at this time, and it's drawing closer to you as well. But the Hangman can indicate that you needed to take a pause in order to reflect and really communicate to the universe what it is that you wanted, okay? But this is a past position. So the Hangman can indicate that you were put on pause on purpose to protect your inner peace, to invest in yourself. This is new knowledge, this card. The Hangman actually puts himself on the tree of life in order to withdraw and learn more about their higher self, and just to reflect on life and what's it all about. So a lot of you, there is this energy here where it's an old way of doing something, or an old way of conducting a friendship or relationship, or even a job, or whatever it is. It just feels like it's dying away, or it's fizzling away. And sometimes it can be really hard to let go of something that you're outgrowing at this time. But also, this pause can be that you needed to really reflect on your sense of purpose. And if you are being distracted by certain things in life or a certain lifestyle choice, it can be that you have been protected and put on pause on purpose in order to reflect more on on your destiny and the direction that you're heading in, because the Wheel of Fortune is all about destiny, it's about fate, but also it can indicate that life, sometimes it's up and down, and that Five of Wands indicates that you are riding that wave. And right now, I feel like you're doing a great job of that. Even if you don't feel like you are right now, I definitely see here that you should be really proud of yourself, because I feel like you're about to have a major breakthrough there as well. Now, the Hangman, this is a temporary pause. So some of you, if you felt like doors were closed and locked and you thought it's too hard to move through this, or it's just the opportunity that I want is not coming, you cannot see it in your future. Sometimes you're suspended on purpose because the door has to be locked. It doesn't mean never, it means not now, because there was something else you had to do. And a lot of you, it was to discover a passion, or it was to enjoy your single life if you're single. This is a card of independence. It's a card of being passionate. It's a card of having the courage to explore, what you're here for, your sense of purpose and your life mission. And it can also be for you to look at your energy levels. So some of you, life could have got a little bit quieter than usual, and you may mourn that, but actually this is you having a major spiritual awakening, because that's what the Hangman is. It's a temporary timeout in order to understand what's going on in your situation. And I feel, you were put on pause on purpose, because a time of inaction and reflection, gives almost like a gateway for new opportunities to manifest. So I feel, although there's been this pause, I feel now it's this gear shift that you're going through, where it's a time for action. It's a time for moving forward. You're going to be much more creative. You're going to have loads of new ideas. You can even feel the energy shifting. And I can see that all the sacrifices you're making to make your life run smoothly or all come together and just click, I feel that breakthrough is upon you right now, especially with this Wheel of Fortune in the potential position. This is better luck. This is better opportunity, but also it means you're going to be in the right place and the right time to resolve the things that you want to and attract the things that you want as well. I definitely see that you are in a state of attraction, but also, you're taking necessary steps. You're not just waiting for life to happen to you. You're out there making life happen for you, is what I see there with this as well. But, with the Wheel of Fortune in this position, it tells me that you're breaking some sort of pattern. So a lot of you, if there's been a dynamic with a person that's been really off, I see this as a withdrawal. You've withdrawn your energy to kind of like, maybe for some of you, teach this person what it feels like to not have you in their life, or you're valuing yourself. When you take a step back, it says to the person who is overstepping a boundary, I value myself and I'm erecting healthier boundaries. That's what that Queen of Swords is all about. It's like, look, this has gone on for too long and I didn't want to have to do this. That's why the Five of Wands, it's like conflict. You don't want to let go of the situation. You don't want to have to kind of face it and say enough is enough, but you've been forced into a position where you feel like you've had no choice. It's time not to give to this situation so that the other person can really ruminate on the dynamics of what went down. So I feel a lot of you could note that this person comes forward when you take a step backwards, okay, or this situation. So for example, if you've been, forging away towards your goals and dreams and you're exhausted and you're like, oh my gosh, sometimes we actually have a breakthrough moment when we say, you know what, I tried. I've given it all I've got. Now I'm just going to trust the process. I'm going to just stay here and be like, okay, let's hope for the best. And in that moment of pause, in that moment of reflection, suddenly it all starts coming towards you. I kid you not, many, many years ago, when I went through an experience that was, my tower moment, shall we say, I basically had a period of my life where I was working like several jobs. I was like doing everything. Part of me was running away from a heartbreak. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was like launching myself into life because it was chaotic. It was challenging, but I was trying to like, stay afloat and do all the stuff. But also there was part of me that was very still, and like it felt like it's almost like I saw myself outside myself, where I was like this little, like, I don't know, a tornado doing stuff, just going here, there, and trying to affect change in my life. And then suddenly everything just went bam, stop. And I was like, and I didn't know like what to do next. I was very nervous with the pause, because I was always on the go. I was always trying so hard. And that's what that Five of Wands can be. It can be like sometimes we're trying so hard, but if we kind of like stop and see our life from a new perspective and we go, okay, let's not try and do it all at once, because that's when we get really exhausted. Let's prioritize what's important. But what I found really magical, and that's why I'm mentioning it, because you have the Wheel of Fortune, which actually is a magical card and dynamic that indicates that there is a shift, a change, a breakthrough here. What I found really magical is that in the pause, all the things that I really wanted, that I was trying so hard to accomplish in my life, and I suddenly thought, oh, it's never going to happen now because everything's just fallen away. I just can't believe it. It's just, I don't know what to do. I'm going to have to rebuild. I'm going to have to start from the very beginning. I'm just lost. Suddenly, the universe was like, nope, you're not lost. Now you're trusting the process, because that's the only thing left to do. And suddenly, all these things that I really wanted deep down in my soul, that I had worked so hard for many years to try and accomplish, but it was never quite working, suddenly, effortlessly, were coming towards me. Emails were coming in, text messages, people from my past were reaching out and saying, hey, I've got this opportunity. Suddenly, you know, love was coming into the mix, and everything was like coming at me at once. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not even like trying. And this calmness came over me, like, trust the process. And I feel like you're in the middle of that. So it could feel like sometimes you're in the eye of the storm, but now you're realizing that actually you are the storm and you are affecting that change, okay? And this is a very famous sentence that just came through from my guides. So you may actually see this sentence a lot over the next coming weeks and months there, because I feel better luck is upon you, better fortune, better prosperity. But I feel like you're having a gear shift here, and you're breaking a pattern on something that you are so fed up of accepting. Okay, so whether it is overcommitting in your diary and saying yes to helping everybody and then having little time for yourself, you may be breaking a cycle and saying, you know what, I'm just going to be a little bit more selfish for myself. You know, it's not actually being selfish. It is fulfilling your own needs first before you can help other people as well. For some of you, it can literally be that you're telling a person who perhaps does not change their ways and consistently comes towards you with the same cycle of repeat. You're like, actually not this time. You know, I hate to let you down, or I hate to say no, but you know what? It ends up draining me, or I always have this inner battle. It's not fair. It's time for me to own my energy and say no. And that is a full sentence. You know, we have that Two of Cups in the near future, which basically means when you step back or change a dynamic, because this is literally to sacrifice, you know, a pattern or a cycle repeat. When you surrender and say, I release this, I can't do this anymore, that's when the dynamics shift. And that's when people respect you more, because you value yourself and you're saying, no, this is my needs and they're your needs, and of course I'll be there for you, but I've also got to, you know, make sure I do not neglect my own needs. So a lot of you, there is this reciprocity going on right now, and I feel there will be balance. But also, if you're dealing with a specific person, a lot of you, if you're estranged from this person, or there's been distance, or you've been evolving away from a certain person, or even a group of people, because the Five of Wands can be that there's a group of you, and perhaps, you know, you don't want to be in the middle of all this, but ultimately, I do see a coming together to really discuss things and, like, you know, talk it out and come to some sort of resolution, but out of it, you are respected and you have healthier boundaries and you're drawing a line in the sand. You know, the Queen of Swords can be that you're kind of like responding to things differently from a healthy position, and you're not allowing anyone to trigger you or anything to trigger you, because you're protecting your inner peace there. Now, of course, for some of you, this can be that you've been waiting for love for such a long time. You've been dating occasionally, perhaps for some of you with that Five of Wands. I mean, this reading is not a love reading, but you have so much, you know, energy of love here. So if you are like single and you're feeling like conflicted, that perhaps you only meet people who are very transient, looking for the physical because you're very attractive, both inside and out, and you actually get a lot of attention, whether you realize it or not. There's something about your energy. People are drawn to you, okay? You are seen. You command attention when you walk into a room. You have gravitas. You may not notice it, but you also may kind of have a little bit of an inkling that when you walk into a room, people do notice, okay? You've got cards that highlight that you make a difference and you're light. You know, it's hard to shine all the time and you are exhausted looking at the energy of the cards, but at the same time, You know, people are drawn to you. You have a natural gravitas. And, you know, I feel that, of course, there is an energy of letting go of a person that perhaps maybe from your past is very much in and out of your life, or even and out of your mind, for example, you know, some sort of history with a person. But it's time to let that history go and acknowledge that, you know, this person's not emotionally available to offer you the love that you truly deserve and desire. Or if you're meeting people who are only looking for the physical, it can be that you're learning with the Queen of Swords there to articulate your needs in a relationship for what you want for the future from a healthy position. You know, when you notice that things perhaps could take a turn for the serious, it can be that you may notice that sometimes people step back, and maybe this time it's you that's stepping back in order to preserve your energy and really think about your future, because anyone who comes into your life with the prospect of being your soulmate or high-level commitment, you know, they are a welcome addition to your life. You know, you do not miss anything. Everything is in you. You are whole all by yourself. So it can be that you're not searching for your other half, as it were. You are looking for a person who complements your life, someone you can see taking the journey of life and love with you. But we must always acknowledge as well that there's always going to be someone in your life at some point that does not see your true value. Don't ever let that person be you. So I feel a lot of you could be looking back at the past and letting go and shedding during this period. But a lot of you also on a personal level, because it doesn't have to be about love or relationships, it can be that, you know, you have overcommitted yourself to many, many things, but there's something here that you really yearn to do, but you haven't got round to it. Well, this gear shift is going to help you connect to it, because this is a connection card. And I feel it will bring you into the company of like-minded individuals. It will help you celebrate life, okay? And I feel as well for some of you with this Two of Cups, this could be a union with, you know, people in your neighborhood. Maybe you're getting more integrated. For some of you, it could be an opportunity that gets delivered towards you, and it just feels like everything is coming together. I mean, the Five of Wands is conflict. So this could be inner conflicts. It could be conflicts with the world. It could be that you're noticing that, you know, everything's very challenging right now. And the Two of Cups is peace. It's balance. So whatever it is you're going through right now, this is going to take a turn, and it's going to come in divine order to more balance, more harmony, and more reciprocity in your life as well. Now, we have that Queen of Wands, and it's in the position of the advice to yourself in this moment. Just be you. Queen of Wands is a Leo card. Just be you. You are magnetic. You're passionate. You garner a lot of attention. I feel a lot of you, you're stepping into this period of being inspired after a period of either like creative blocks or feeling so exhausted. This is your mojo returning. But also, a lot of you, it can be that as you get older, you're noticing how you're maturing, the lessons that you're learning, because of course the Hangman indicates, yes, you've learned a lot of lessons, and those lessons came through challenge. Okay, often a person who triggers us is the person who's been sent by the universe to actually, you know, kind of force us, let's say encourage, but kind of force us to heal aspects of self so that we value ourselves in a really worthy way, shall we say, and that we do not compromise our morals, and we know what we want. We get clear on what we want. And I feel a lot of you are removing triggers from your life. And this doesn't have to be people. It can also be substances. It can be that perhaps, you know, there's something here that's been draining your energy a lot. Maybe you've been on the go. I mean, it could be a cell phone, for example, that you've been on your cell phone a lot and it's been draining your energy and you're taking a step back. You could literally be saying, okay, I'm going to limit my time on this so that I can actually go out there and connect to people or connect to hobbies or do something physical and, you know, not be so insular in the cell phone and be more outgoing or more embracing of nature or the present moment, for example. So please apply it to your situation. But the Queen of Wands, this is a very connected card. So you are someone who is a great friend, okay? And you are meeting people, if you're searching for your soul tribe, who really vibe with your frequency. But also this is about you being passionate. It's about you kind of acknowledging that as you mature, that actually you get more beautiful, more attractive with age, okay, as well. That's what I'm seeing. This is a very aesthetic card. My readings are not about aesthetics, but this tells me that you're very attractive. There's something about you that sets you apart from other people, and sometimes that can garner jealousy or conflict in friendship groups, because sometimes people will see what they lack in themselves by looking at you, for example, and that can make them feel doubt about themselves. And it's not that they wish you unwell, but sometimes they can change the way that they approach you because you shine or you outshine them, for example. And you may have witnessed this in relationships as well, romantic ones, and it can be that you need a partner who is strong enough to walk by your side. Well, if also this is a dynamic with a partner that you are with already at this moment, if you're questioning the relationship and how it's headed, the right person will never give you cause for question, okay? So therein that may lie the answer if you're trying to make a decision on something, because we do have that Lovers card there. But we also have the Five of Cups, okay? And this is the circumstances outside of yourself. And the Five of Cups can be change. It can be, we all unfortunately learn about loss or letting go at some point in our lives. And, for some of you, not all of you, I'm sending you a huge hug out there. So much love if you've dealt with an emotional loss, a physical emotional loss as well, that you have been grieving somebody. So for some of you, it can be that you're grieving someone's presence in your life, and you miss their energy, you miss their scent, you miss every aspect of them, and it feels somehow that ever since this moment that you feel perhaps that they are missing from your life, absent from your life, that time stood still. Perhaps that's what I'm getting from this reading, and I'm sending you a huge hug out there and so much love. But I'm being given this energy that they are always around you, and they hear you talking to them, okay? And I feel there is a call here for you to embrace the joy of the moment, live life, remember the memories, but you must live on. You must enjoy life. I mean, easier said than done. I absolutely know that. Grief, it's just, there are no words of comfort. Okay, everyone is going to deal with grief in their own specific way. And a lot of you, if you're going through that, you're going through a very long healing process. And of course, people say that time is a healer. I have trouble with that sentence myself, based on the experiences I've had in my life. Time, it teaches you to manage certain emotions and certain thoughts and things like that. Of course, healing is important, and we must learn to go through that process. But I feel sometimes that sentence is a bit redundant, or it kind of like doesn't value the nature of grief itself, if that makes sense. So I'm sending you a huge hug out there and so much love. But I do see, this could be a presence, someone who's around you all the time. And just because you physically cannot see this person, you can feel them. Okay, because you have a lot of feeling cards here. So I feel for some of you, there's an energy here of the conversation that got left unsaid. This person hears you. And, with the Five of Cups, there can be a regret of something that hadn't been said there. And it may have been a complex relationship with that Five of Wands, but there's still so much love and so much compassion. And with a lot of love and respect, I'm going to move away from that energy. I'm just seeing butterflies, lots of butterflies, loads of them, almost like someone released loads of butterflies. So perhaps this is going to be a sign for you with the presence of this person. So with a lot of love and respect, I'm going to move away from that energy. I'm just being given one thing before I move from that, which is like there is no ending, only, what's the word? Could you bring that forward? oh gosh, I can't see the word. I really do apologize. There's no ending, only, I think it's transition because I'm seeing TR, only transition. So it can be that energy, it doesn't die. It, transitions into a different form. But I can't quite see the word, so I do apologize. I wish I could bring it forward, but it's a bit cloudy and I can't quite make it out. So I'll leave it like that with a lot of love and respect. I'm going to disconnect from that energy there. The Five of Cups, on another level when it comes to relationships or circumstances, especially when it comes to like the Six of Cups, if you're grieving a part of yourself and you feel like the good old days are over, I really feel with that Wheel of Fortune and the Two of Cups, the best is yet to come. This is not the end of your story, okay? And I feel the Five of Cups can be to let go sometimes of the past so that we can actually just free ourselves to live in this present moment and be open to what the future can bring. For some of you with the Five of Cups, not all of you, but some of you may have felt really like misunderstood recently, or isolated or alone. You may feel that at one time people just understood each other, or people were kind of aligned, and suddenly there was this conflict or this moment where everything got turned upside down, and it just feels like you're at a loss. You may even be trying to wonder, like, when did it change? What happened? What was the reason? So it could be that you're doing a lot of questioning in this Five of Cups energy. But the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot sees a figure like mourning 3 cups. So those 3 cups, it can indicate you've experienced certain things right now, and life perhaps is not as satisfying as you'd hoped, or it feels like you feel perhaps missed opportunities have occurred for you, but what is meant for you will never pass you by. And in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the figure only has to turn around and see that there are 2 full cups. So it indicates that Two of Cups right there. It's like the best is yet to come, or you're being aligned with greater things. And right now you are going through a transition period, and perhaps this moment is the bridge for you to cross to the other side that brings a lot of prosperity and better opportunities there. But I do see with the Lover's card, you have to make a decision. And because we have that Five of Cups and that Six of Cups, I feel, and don't shoot the messenger when I say this, what I'm being given is you can choose to live in the past. But the past, it did exist at one point, but now it no longer exists. It's an illusion. It's in your mind. It's a memory, okay? And we can't ever revisit that, only in our mind. And that will prevent you from living in the present moment and moving forward through the experience of life and the great things that are to come. Especially before we go to bed, sometimes humans, we kind of like rehash the past, conversations of things we wished we'd said like 6 years ago, 10 years ago. Sometimes we're also like doing our shopping list of things that we need to do in the next coming weeks for our life, but the most potent time to manifest for your future actually is before you fall asleep, okay? Because you're connecting to different vibrations and different like alpha waves and things like that, so that you can actually, almost like reprogram what it is you want for your future. So a lot of you, it is kind of like choosing to not spend so much time thinking about the past, learn from it, because there's always lessons to be learned. It shaped who you are, so it's very important, but know that this is the time to look forward to what is to come and to kind of like project like positive vibrations to the future of the life that you aspire to, okay? Easier said than done, I know, especially when things feel really challenging, but I do see that there are better things to come for you there. I mean, for some of you, because the Queen of Swords is there, and this is not going to resonate with all of you, of course, the Queen of Swords can represent divorce or divorcee, so it can indicate that some of you, if you've been going through a separation with a person or divorce, you may be thinking of like the times that you spent with this person and think, well, where did the love go? What happened? Why did it change? And it was destiny that this person was in your life for a reason, to teach you certain lessons about yourself, but also to free you up so that you can, move on, love yourself fully, but also open up to a new relationship in the future that is more aligned with you. So, this is not the end of your love story as well, if that's something that's on your mind there too. But the Lover's card is in the resistance position. It's a hope and a fear position. So this can indicate that you have to make a major decision right now and you fear making a misstep. It can be that, you feel if you go in one direction, you could regret it, or vice versa. If you go in the other direction, it could be the same. But I feel with this Queen of Swords energy, it's like you doing your due diligence, getting all the information, and having like clarity of purpose of what it is you want to align with. Okay, so this can be the alignment pinpoint moment where you're like, okay, how would I feel if I had this life with this choice? And then imagine how you would have life with the other choice, and which one really sets your soul on fire, because that's what you're doing here. This is you setting things alight. As you can see with this Five of Wands, these wands are lit. And it's like, well, how are you setting your life on fire right now? You know, what is it that makes you feel passionate? How are you lit? This is about you wishing for things. And yeah, it may seem challenging, but it's not impossible. And I definitely see here you're overriding some sort of thought process to make something really possible and be very successful in it as well. You know, the reverse of this card, because you have to read the reverse in this position, it can indicate that some of you may have had discord in relationships, or you may have regretted bad choices in the past. But we have to remember, and you know, I've had to come to terms with this myself in my own life, that sometimes we made decisions in our past that we really wanted in that moment. And sometimes we may have rushed into things. Sometimes, you know, we were all consumed by passion and we lived in the moment and we made those choices and we may have got burnt. But we lived in the moment, we followed our passion, and that's something that took courage. So we need to see it from both angles. And I feel these lessons were plot points in your life that you had to get to in some way in order to advance and upgrade your life. And I definitely see you're on the pinnacle of that right now. Also, of course, this card can indicate discord in relationships, but also breaking free or breaking away from something that's been challenging or messing with your equilibrium. You know, if it is a person who's causing conflict, trying to trigger you, push your buttons, or trying to kind of like distract you from your goals or your sense of purpose, it's time to take a pause. It's time to reflect on their intentions and actually decide that you need to refocus your energy into things that you love doing and protect your inner peace and keep locked on to your sense of purpose and keep moving forward there. Now, your final card is the Queen of Swords. Now, it's important to feel, okay? Humans, we are feeling entities. We, you know, have so many emotions, but it can be that for some of you, there is this energy of like feeling, manifesting, and then kind of like detaching from the outcome. And that's where you'll manifest the quickest, okay, when you trust the process, because this is a detachment card. So because it is an outcome card, I definitely see that you are organized. It also indicates you're going to have a very like direct conversation with a person. Something needs to be said there. But also this is about boundaries, and it is about setting intentions and taking action, understanding what it is you need to do, and letting go of false truths, false narratives, you know. So it's like you being like super real with yourself and saying, okay, this is hard. This is not working. This is working. So I'm going to focus on this and I'll come back to this other thing, because maybe through this process, I'm going to learn something and I'm going to be able to invest that knowledge into this to make it advance. For some of you, it could be that you're learning in friendships that they evolve. Everything changes, you know, circumstances change, seasons change. The one constant that is in our life is change. And unfortunately, one of the hardest lessons is to let go or acknowledge that we cannot control situations sometimes. Destiny can send us a bit of a plot twist. So I feel like you're being called to be flexible during these changes. But ultimately, I feel with that Queen of Swords, I feel that you're being really direct about what it is that you want to get out of a situation, okay? Also, I would say that you're someone who's very clever, okay? And I feel like you're working with what you got right now, and I feel knowledge is the key to your success, and it's the key to making this decision that you have to make, and I feel like you're going to make the right one. And, you know, the sword is actually behind this particular Queen of Swords, which I really love, because it kind of means, you know, challenge is behind you. There will be no need to have a sword in the future, because you're not going to have to defend yourself, or you're going to not have the challenge. You you are going to be someone who's like, okay, I'm open, I trust the process, and things will come easier. It's like you're going to reach a point in your life where things are so harmonized that you can drop the shield, whether that's in love relationships, in friendships. This is a period where, yes, you're exhausted, but there is going to be a point where you can drop that shield and say, okay, I'm ready, I'm open. And there lies the magic, where things start to come to you a little bit more effortlessly as well. Okay, hope that makes sense. Sometimes I got to trust the process on the energy and the readings of the message that come through. I'm just going to go and get some final cards for you. We've got magic right there. We've got anchor. Okay, so looking at the energy, we only had cups, and we had wands there, so energy, feeling, the vision, but we also got piggy bank here. Okay, piggy bank's all about value, really. It's about choosing your battles and recognizing when a certain conflict is above your energy and not allowing it to trigger you. That's what I'm getting from this. But it can also indicate that, save a little bit of something for yourself. You know what I mean? Whenever you think about coins in a reading, that's all about energy. It's about investment. So this is you looking at where you invest your time and your energy and what is worthy of your time and energy. But it says here, saving money. So it can be literal, of course. A lot of you may be finding it's really hard to live your passions, live your dreams, and save money and do life. I mean, why does it have to be so hard? We're all just trying to make our way and, provide for our families and just do life. You don't want any conflict. You just want it to be like simple, right? Why does it have to be simple? I don't understand. But anyway, it says here, being frugal, reservation, saving something for later. So, I feel this is more about you and your sense of value. And reservation, if you have reservations on a person, I feel it could come to a head in the next coming weeks where you kind of like let it all out and say, this is what's going on. I'm not holding this in anymore. Okay. Now we also have magic. So you are the magic. Okay. The magic is within you. But I feel sometimes when we're in life and we're doing, because the Five of Wands is very much a doing card, we don't notice the magic. But when we stop and smell the roses, or when we stop what we're doing, go, okay, I'm done, that's it, then we can allow the magic to start taking shape and to start moving forward. They always say, if you take one step towards your destiny, then the universe will take 10 steps towards you and support your prosperity. So I feel a lot of you in this pause is the opportunity coming towards you. And it says spell work, manifesting, magical powers, and rituals. Now, because we have the Wheel of Fortune there, some of you may have been so busy that you haven't been able to implement a ritual, even if it's like 10 minutes before bed, thinking about what you aspire to have in your life, how you feel about it as well. Also, we have that anchor, and this can be to anchor emotions. And what I mean with that Queen of Swords is to detach from a situation so it doesn't trigger you, or that sometimes we care so much about something, whether it's a job or an opportunity or our family, or, sometimes we have to recognize that over caring can also stifle our energy or hurt us. Okay, so I feel it's about finding the balance and allowing things to be as they're meant to be. But it says here, security and safety, achieving stability, unwavering dedication, and a strong bond and enduring. So if you are having conflict with a person, again, it's giving me this energy that you will come back into some sort of affinity where yours is a lasting bond. There is a lot of love there. Okay, at the root of it. It can be saved, but you're not allowing a person to overstep a mark or get away with something. You have to call it out. So that's what I see in this particular reading. May not resonate with everyone, of course, but I'm just seeing that come through there as well. Okay, what do we have? Okay, so we have an octopus. So this can indicate that there is some sort of situation, maybe it's a fluid situation right now, and it is evolving at this moment in time, but it will solidify. It will be something that becomes stable. I mean, whenever I think about the octopus, I think about all the tentacles, and it's like you're doing so much. It's like you're multitasking, doing all of the stuff. Okay, and it can be that there is a necessary pause here for you to rest and get clear on what it is that you want. But also, the octopus, so beautiful, such a sentient being. Okay, so this can be that you are feeling something the undercurrent of something right now, and you are trusting your instincts and your intuition in order to call it out or face it head on before it becomes critical or it becomes a thing. Okay, so that's something that's coming through there as well. So I'll leave that there. I hope something resonates, my beautiful Leo. Thank you so much, and love and light.